Hi everyone, Jen Holt here at Inspired by Purpose to bring you your pose of the day. So today, it's Sunday, we're going to do another restorative pose, and I have a few props here for this pose. I have a couple of blankets, and we're going to use a wall because today's pose is called Legs Up the Wall. You can also use a chair for this pose if you don't have good wall space, or if you would just prefer to have your legs on a chair, and this chair could also be a couch or whatever else you may have at home. This pose is great for swelling of the legs. It's a great way to bring the heart rate down. It's a great way to restore at the end of a long day or a long week. So I'll show you how to get into it. The easiest way for most of us, and I'll say I invite you to come into this pose however feels best for you, but the easiest way for most of us will be to kind of bring the hip pretty close to the wall, and then we're going to swivel our legs up and our back onto the wall, like so. Now you might land with your hips a little bit further away from the wall, and if so, you can kind of scooch your way up a little bit closer. Allow the legs to extend up. Hands could be resting on your body or out by your sides. You can allow the eyes to close. You can even use a little eye pillow or something over the eyes to help the muscles of the eyes rest and relax a little bit more fully. Now, if you don't have a wall, you can use a chair, and I'll show you what that looks like. So, if you're using a chair, hips come toward the chair, legs go up, and then we release our way down. And I'll also say that if you're using a chair, it can be nice to have the chair angled this way so that the feet aren't hitting the back of the chair. If I had the chair turned this way, then sometimes it's just a little less relaxing because the feet are being forced into a little bit of flexion. So if it's available, if you have a chair that doesn't have arms, rotating it to its side so that the legs and the feet can rest can be nice. If your chair isn't quite the right height, if maybe you need a little bit, more, you can always place a blanket on the seat of the chair as well. Now, another thing to be aware of when we're coming into this pose is orientation of the pelvis. If you have very tight hamstrings, you might need a little bit of support under the pelvis. If you feel that the pelvis is either tucking under, so the tailbone is really curled, or if you feel that the tailbone is pushing down and there's a lot of space between your lower back and the floor, having a little bit of a lift underneath can be really nice. And to do so, you'll push down through the feet and allow a little bit of a blanket or a pillow to be underneath. It can also be really nice to have a little bit of support under your head. And what I like to do is to take my blanket under the head, and then you can also do a little bit of a roll or a fold under the neck, just so it fills in that little space, that little curvature under the neck. Again, hands could be resting on the body or out to the sides. You could have an eye pillow over your face to help the muscles around the eyes relax. You can hold here for several minutes, up to 10-15 minutes, as long as it feels good. Now, if you have your legs up a wall, there are some other options that you can take, and I'll show those to you. So we get the legs up. You can support the head if you need, and you can support under the hips if you need. Now, options for the legs. When the legs are up a wall, we have a little bit more room for play. You can either take the leg straight up. You can do a little wide leg option with the legs out, and this is gonna give you a little bit more opening through the inner thighs. You could do a little butterfly pose against the wall so that the soles of the feet come together and the knees are starting to open out. You can even use your hands just lightly on the inner thighs, not pushing, but just as a little weight there. You could do a little bit of a squatting position by bringing the soles of the feet on the mat and drawing the knees a little bit closer to the armpits. This one is also really nice. Or you could do a little bit of our figure 4 pose by bringing an ankle to the opposite knee. The knee will start to open up, and the opposite foot, if you're ready for more sensation, this may be enough, you can start to slide it down, and here we are in a hip opening. So nice. Any of our seated poses that we do on the mat can really be done on the wall, but they'll feel quite different on the wall. So even taking your legs into an easy fold can be quite nice. So feel free to explore, move the legs around, get a little curious in your body, and see what you like today. I'll give you one more little option that you can do, and that is just bringing a little blanket over the abdomen or the hips, pelvis area. Just having this little bit of warmth and a little bit of weight can be very soothing, and you can do this whether or not you have your hips lifted. You can hold this pose for as long as you like, as long as you're comfortable. Your legs and your feet will let you know when it's time to come out. If you have any questions, and actually I should show you the way out too. So when you're ready to come out, if you're on the wall, the easiest way is to draw the knees in and roll over like so. So if you have any questions, please drop them below in the comments. I'm happy to answer those. I hope to see you here in center or online very soon. Take good care of yourselves. Thanks so much for joining.